what I love about this sort of podcast is learning this sort of thing about the unsung heroes as such, that the famous name that people don't know, because the next name I'm going to throw at you is one that people know but isn't, I think, a particularly positive story to recall. But it's Emerson Fittipaldi and the link with him when you were just stepping up to kart. Just what happened? Like, how did that not be the dream story most people would have expected it to be when you've got you're working with someone like Emerson to try and further your career?
You know, the potential was so big. In 1997, as I was battling for the championship with the Indy Lights, he was in Miami. I was living in Miami too. We meet mutual friends, and we end up getting together. And obviously, I met Emerson many times before because he was also sponsored by Philip Morris with that Marlboro Brazilian team. So kind of like we always say, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" And finally, he's like, "Hey, look, I would love to help you in your career and being your manager." I'm like, "Wow, this is great. That's what I need. You know, we need to, for the next level, we need to go for it." And he finally, when I didn't win the championship, finished second. Steve Horn said, "Look, the deal was whoever win the championship would get the ride in a Tasman Motorsport," and Tony ended up getting that ride. However, he was like telling everyone, "These two are going to be the next drivers, the next champions." And Tony Bettenhausen got that. So I ended up talking to Emerson. Emerson made some deals, with the Brazilian TV that he has some business together, and it worked really well. But turned out to the end of the year, Tony Bettenhausen shut down the team. And I'm like, "Emerson, come on, man. We can't let this happen. I can't keep packing my bag and start going home again. I did this too many times." And JJ Leto was actually driving for Hoga Racing and decided to go to do the IMSA with the BMW. And Carl said, "No, you actually drive with Mercedes engine. You can't do that." He ended up doing it, so his contract was off. So 1 week before the actually Homestead race, I got a phone call and said, "Hey, there is a possibility." Well, talk to my manager. He's the one that does that. And Emerson will go end up there, and he thought was so, kind of like smooth going into without, finding sponsorship through his business, but he never follow up, and we miss opportunities. And I said, "Emerson, we keep missing opportunities." Toyota that was doing a driver opportunity with Cristiano D'Amata, ended up getting that ride. So all these things happening, and it wasn't moving. I have my backpack ready to go back home. I was like, I need to keep moving forward. So that's what happened. Carl and I had an incredible relationship. He, not only that, we started doing super well. Nobody went to Lola anymore. We're up reviving the Lola days, chassis I'm talking about, obviously. And Carl said, "No, you can't do that, Helio. Your career is being stopped by that." I'm like, "Look, I don't like to fight with anybody." But then when Carl decided to shut down the team, I said, "Carl, you can't do this to me. You signed for me for next year. I can't believe it." And I had a written offer from Bob Rahal for 5 years in the middle of July. And I said, "Emerson, let's do it." And he's like, no, we have to stay with Mercedes engine. I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. I mean, Mercedes not even going to be next year, maybe. What's happening?" So there was those debates, and until finally when they shut off, when Hogan decided to shut down the team, I wrote a letter, and I said, "Emerson, all these years, 2 years that we've been together, would not be in agreement. I pay everything that I have. This is not working out." Unfortunately, I mean, in 2000, particularly that day, that weekend, not that day, Greg Moore ended up having a huge accident, and obviously a fatal accident. So everything from there start changing. I got a phone call from Roger, and from there on, we start negotiating. I start negotiating. I start doing this. My sister and I, actually, they thought my sister was my girlfriend. Right now, there was so much in my mind. I just lost a colleague. I was going home again. My team just shut down. That's my biggest fear. I didn't want to do that happen. And Penske is calling me. I don't know what it's obviously we ended up doing that decision, and Emerson felt that he was not. I was stabbing him in the back, and I'm like, how can I stab somebody in the back? This is the destiny. It's nothing to do with you or me. And actually, even before that happened, I already said, sorry, we're not going to work anymore because you're not paying attention to me anymore. So unfortunately, obviously, he ended up suing me from that, but we ended up going to court and ended up winning the case. But yeah, that was a sad moment because there was so much we could have done together, so much. We could go actually back to Formula One. I'm telling you, after 3 years, my contract with Penske, we probably would have go back to Formula One and do so well. And but yeah, I don't know if it was disappointing because he is a hero in racing, you know. And unfortunately, for not that to happen, it was for me it was a big disappointment.
So was it only with him you think you could have gone back to Formula One after that spell with Penske? And why is that? Because of the TV links in Brazil?
No, because Formula One, the political is a little different, right? You have to have connections. You have to know people. I didn't have my only time was in Europe with Paul and Jack. I mean, that could be a great end, but they were also having their own business, right? So it was hard for me to do it. And I feel that his connection would be great for us to explore and go back to Formula One. And that's why I felt that he didn't pay attention on that.